So let's dive in.
Okay, so what would somebody be looking at right here? Let's start with infection.
Perfect. So this test looks at the 4 pillars, if you will, of intestinal health. Moving from left to right, kind of in order of most important to least, is infection first, inflammation, insufficiency, then imbalance. So this first page is the interpretation at a glance, and then we'll dive into each of these more in depth. Infection refers to the presence of a microbe that is never supposed to be there. In this example, we see a parasite, a protozoan parasite called Blastocystis hominis, a very common parasite. So we'll talk about that in just a minute. The next pillar we have is inflammation. Inflammation, to define it, is simply the immune system's response to injury. So here, if we see inflammation active in the gut, it means that there's some kind of injury that the immune system is responding to. That could be food sensitivities, that could be gut dysbiosis, which we're going to talk about here. It could be infection, it could be stress, it could be many different things, but this gives us an idea of severity, and we often align that with your symptoms. Third section is insufficiency, and here we're looking at digestion and absorption. So how are you digesting and absorbing protein, fats, protein and fats largely, and we can get an idea of carbohydrates also. So here we're looking at hydrochloric acid production, stomach function, pancreatic enzymes, bile and gallbladder function to give us more thorough idea of digestion and absorption. And then the fourth category is imbalance. So conversely to infection, I mentioned that infection represents a microbe that is never supposed to be there. Imbalance refers more to microbes that are supposed to be there, they're just in the wrong levels. So as I mentioned at the beginning of this talk, we can have too many of kind of less than optimal bugs, as we see here. The yeast is a big one. We can have too little of the good guys or some variation in thereof. And we collectively refer to this as dysbiosis.